Lily. I am here with one of my altered books, a whole bucket of textures that I've been saving, and I have a secondary bucket of smaller, sort of categorized or sorted textures that I want to use. Some of these don't make sense because I put them in here thinking I'm going to do something and then I don't do it. Oh, and there's also some little tiny images in here that I want to use at some point. Look at this little tiny woman. This would be good for I have a new tiny book that I'm altering. I'll show it to you. I'm not going to do that on this video, but this would be a fun, much quicker video to do a tiny collage. You know how I love my mini collages. So my friend gave me this handmade book from Italy. Thank you, Studio Ali. Shout out. And I'm going to collage the pages. I think I'm just going to collage the fronts of the pages for now because I don't know how. There's so many pages. I don't know how it's going to take, how well it's going to do if both sides are collaged, but we'll see. It would be fun to do like a double mini collage. I don't know. That's all for another time, but I do have some images in here that I've saved, some one-offs. I mean, look at this. Textures. Textures, textures. I love textures. A lot of these, I guess, and I get textures from everywhere, obviously. Sometimes I make my own. Here's a bucket of just hole punched. If it's a plain color, like part of an envelope I didn't end up using, then sometimes I just hole punch it right then. So I have these ready to go when I want them. But a lot of these images I took out of the catalog. What's the name of the catalog? It's this one. It's not Free People, but it's something kind of similar, but it's this catalog. Sorry, I'm blanking on the name of it. But anyway, like, there's just really bright colors. Sometimes there's text, like this is happy, should be good. Live happy. But usually the text is a little small to use, but hey, now that I have a miniature book, maybe that's not the case anymore. Anyway, if I have like pieces of paper left over from using them in a different installation and then I want to keep them together, this is one of the things I do is I just put them in another use for clear envelopes. I just put them in there and I know all these are matching to each other, and if I want to use them, then they're all in the same place. I don't have to dig through. Same thing with this. I've been hanging on to this for so long. It would be so good to use this. So anyway, I have a goal of using up material this year and also of finishing 2 of my altered books, completely finishing them where they'd be ready to basically be shown at a gallery if I were to be so lucky. And this is one of those books. So, and I am so close to being done with this book. I'm starting at the back. And this is the last spread I did, the black and white full spread collage. This is the last spread right here. And I already know what I want to do on it, but I haven't done it yet. And then this is the back cover that I would need to decide how I want to finish out the book. I've never finished a book, so I don't know. Maybe I do, like, I don't know, artist statement or something? It seems like, because I didn't do anything, although I could put something here. This is the opening. I don't know. But I'm not going to do that today. I'm not going to do the final spread today because I'm still working out some kinks and basically just getting over the fear of finishing something. But what I am going to do is when I look through this book, like if I start at the back, I really like the spreads. These are all spreads I've done basically this year. And you can see, I hope you can see the level of time and attention to detail that I've put into these. I have a ton of interactive elements, which has really become integral to my practice, where the viewer or person experiencing the art can also interact with the art. That's really important to me at the moment. And just, I feel like I've really refined my style of collage. I've refined my viewpoint, I don't know, my aesthetic, I guess. And so anyway, so these recent spreads, you know, elements coming off the page is something that's really cool. The type of text I put on a page, it has become important to me. So yeah, I think most of this was done maybe a year before, but it's sort of the further back I go, meaning the earlier in the book I go, the less I like the spreads. And I think that's totally like normal for an artist, that over time you get into new stuff, you discover new techniques, or you discover new art products, or just your viewpoint changes. Maybe you had something happen in your life that changes you. And some artists I have read will go back and edit earlier works. Most, I think, I'm guessing like most don't. But I did read about, I read a book about Jackson Pollock's partner, who, of course, why can't I remember her name, but I can remember Jackson Pollock's. If you know who I'm talking about, if it comes to me, I'll tell you. But I read a book about her work, and she actually is someone who went back and cut up earlier artwork and used it as collage fodder for new artwork. And I think this, I want to say this was like a 30-year time span. It was like stuff she never thought she would do again. I have put tape over a lot of this, which makes it slightly more challenging to revise or edit. I mean, obviously, if I really didn't like a page, I could just either pull it out, take it out of the book, or I could just cover it completely. Like, I don't know why. I've worked on this a bit. I don't know why. It's just this page I just don't like it. And I don't know if it's the central image, the color scheme. I never liked it. So that's something to figure out, obviously, before this work is done. Some of them that are more minimal, I'm pretty okay with. Like, I am okay with this double spread, and it leads into like a secret spread. I don't know that I would change anything here. But I don't know. Some of them are, I think, more texture. I'll say this. If I were going to make this spread today, I might have used, like, there's only one pattern on this entire spread, right? I mean, obviously plain gold is a pattern. So I would have used more texture for sure. I would have used more patterns. And I might have tried to play up, you know, the actual central image in some way. I still like the words, the message. So the deal with this book is that each page has a woman and a message. So it's an oracle. So you can flip open to any page and receive the message. Like this one I don't like at all. I don't know. It's not doing it for me. And honestly, I don't love this one. I do like that there's a secret little book. But some of these early spreads I did very quickly. I didn't have my own stock of materials. This is when we worked on this mini collage in a video. Well, I worked on it, but you watched, hopefully. And then I stuck it in here, and I liked that. I think it added a lot, but I would need to add more. I don't know, there's just stuff I don't like about these earlier spreads. I don't look at them and think like that's my work. So I have this wallpaper here because I want to use it somehow on this spread. That might be the first thing we edit. So anyway, in the spirit of finishing something, I thought revision, with a background as a writer, revision is part of the finishing process. It's actually almost the entire process when you're writing. So we're going to revise. This is a make with me, my first one. So not necessarily a specific technique I want to show you, but as I revise pages, hopefully you'll pick up some stuff. I mean, I like awaken as a message, but this might be something that I think someone drew this. I don't remember if someone I knew drew this, or I don't know. This would probably be something I would just pass over. So the other thing I think I was doing in the beginning of this was using more, I guess, artificial imagery. And now I really like to use sort of what you might call like a real woman, you know? Like maybe if this was an actual woman, I might like this better versus like a hand-drawn. I don't know. We have to play around and see. So basically I'm just going to be adding texture where I can. And I try not to get bogged down on any one spread. I have my glue pages here. I've got my glue paintbrush. Here's my glue here. I've got my water, scissors, and my textures. And I'm thinking that's all I will need. If we need something else, then maybe I'll stop and find it. Look closer and you'll see something between real and true. So let's see if I add some texture to this. I'm going to leave the message alone for right now because I like what it says. And I like the big circle eye. So I'm actually thinking that maybe I add texture along the side here. I definitely want to cover up this weird. So I could just do a frame all the way around. I could like just actually, well, let me cut off this piece that makes it too large. This is wallpaper I got from the World Wildlife Fund. I'm sure I've mentioned it before. It is the most gorgeous pattern I have seen. And I've used it in a million different places. And I'm going to continue using it until I run out. So now this is the almost exact size of my page. Cut off a little bit at the top. I'll just make a line. And then if I cut out in the center piece, I wonder if I should do a round or an oval. To make the frame. I never can tell if there's an upside, a right side up. I think because this bug is up, I usually do it that way. Or I could make like a peekaboo, but if I made a peekaboo, that wouldn't be changing. I would still need to change the original. So I think what I want to do is actually make this into a frame. It might be more interesting if I just tear the pieces. So like kind of here. Let's do it. We're doing it. It's always nerve-wracking to get going. I thought this would be an interesting video for anyone who, if you're working in a book, whether your own or someone else's, where there are pages that didn't get finished, or, you know, maybe it's a page that doesn't have anything on it, but it's next to a page that has things on it. And so this is a good way to I guess this is a good process to add to something that already exists. And honestly, that's sometimes more fun, because sometimes it can just be so daunting to look at an entire book spread that has nothing on it, and you're like, well, how do I know what I'm supposed to put on this page? You know, unless you come to it with inspiration. So my goal is not really to complete any spreads today, but just to go through and add texture where I think texture would be useful. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm not adding these. One thing I could do, since this is a very graphic wallpaper, is I could, you know, cut out bugs and butterflies and flowers and actually add them that way. But what I'm trying to do is just create a texture out of this wallpaper, like, so I'm treating it as whether it was a stripe or a check or something. Just treating these as a texture, not as imagery that I want to highlight. Okay, so now I just need a little piece here to go around the words. This isn't so bad, is it? And I'm going to see if adding these things makes me like the spread more. Again, I can always change more of it. Let's see, so I want to be about the between. I'm just going to take this guy out. The other thing is, if you do cover up something else on the page that you liked before, you just do it over. I'm sure I could find the word look somewhere else. So, yeah, so this is my first make with me. I'm so curious to know how everyone's book experiences are going, whether you're enjoying it, whether it's stressful, if you think, I'm never going to do this again, what was I thinking? Or do you love it so much? So leave, if you do watch this, leave a comment about your experience with altered bookmaking and whether or not it's lighting you up. I started this altered book. See, the other thing is I've started doing is putting dates on spreads, because of course I didn't know it was going to take me like 5 or 6 years to finish this book, you know. I kind of just assumed, oh, I'm going to do this and it'll be done. Not so. Okay, I don't want to cover up the magnifying glass, so maybe I'll put this right here. And I'm trying to do this in a way that you can see what I'm doing, but the main thing is for you to have your book out, working alongside me, and then it doesn't even really matter what I'm doing. It matters what you're doing. I am using Mod Podge, a matte Mod Podge, to finish this. And certainly one of the things I don't like about this text is that it got like grungy. I don't know. I like the message. Look closer, you'll see something between real and true, which is actually a good space for this graphic. This graphic is bugs. All right, so now I should be able to just straight tear this down the line. And the other thing about using wallpaper, I have wallpaper on the brain, about using wrapping paper is it tears so cleanly. Okay, so this is going to be a big section. Maybe I'll do half at a time. Ooh, I need to put my glue much closer. Or we're gonna have glue everywhere. Do this top half, and then I can glue the bottom half. This is the one I want to get in the right place. But yeah, like I said, I'm not trying to finish any spreads on this video. Just gonna spend some time adding texture and revising, which, to be honest, I haven't really done. Maybe on a very small scale. But for the most part, if I haven't liked something, I've torn it out or just replaced it over. I want to do that in this case. I want to at least give these spreads a chance, you know? Like, see if I can make something of them. There was something about these original images, obviously, that spoke to me. These pages do have packing tape on them, and I'm gluing right over it. Another thing I haven't done that often. I have done it before. Not too often. So, and then maybe if I just do a strip down below, a strip up above, and we'll leave it at that. It would be nice if this strip was long enough, and it almost is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it this way and put it where I want it, and then I can always cut the excess. Do I want to do that, or do I want the ripped? I sort of want the ripped edge. Slightly cleaner ripped edge. Not cleaner, but straighter. Ha, this is just the right size. No idea what I was talking about. From a content standpoint, this might be a little chaotic because I am perimenopausal and I can't remember what I said 5 seconds ago. Maybe I was always that way. I don't want to blame everything on perimenopause. It just seems like everything that's happening to me, my body and brain, is related, so kind of hard not to. All right, this is actually, I don't know. I'm also going to try to reserve judgment while I'm doing this, because again, I like these little flowers. They're so cute. You know, try to reserve judgment until I can come back and look at these. Oftentimes, actually, with any sort of art, you know, if you're not, well, first of all, there's always going to be a point when you're not feeling it. And that struggle is real. I will validate that. And in that case, I usually say just keep going until you do like it. But also, in addition to that, if you're not loving something, or even if you're just kind of on the fence about is it done, is it not done, a good piece of advice, if you're looking for one, is to just step away and come back another time. Like, step away from it. Some people actually suggest taking a picture of the work. I have done this. And stepping away, giving it some breathing room, and then either looking at the picture or coming back and looking at the artwork itself, or both, and seeing how you feel then. I think I've done that, and I've known kind of right away, like, oh, this isn't done. I need to do more. I mean, this is infinitely better. I'm supposed to be reserving judgment, but I just want to say that I like it so much better. I'm going to play around with leaving the pattern of her dress and just doing a piece across the bottom here. It's going to be difficult to cut, so I think what I'm going to do is cut more than I need, glue it on where I want it, and then I'll cut off the bottom later after it has dried. So I've been using my blue pages. I'll try to do the whole piece here. I've been doing a lot of collage. We're doing a large scale, full room collage in my dining room with papers that I made myself. And since I'm handling the entire room at once, it has been an interesting sort of ongoing process of stepping away, coming back, stepping away, coming back. Certainly my feelings about it are different given the day and given the time of day. I do like, overall, I like what I'm doing, and that is important. I want to put a little piece over here. Do I have this cute piece? A little piece over here where I ripped it just shy of the edge. Let me just rip again. And that's upside down, but it doesn't matter. The studio in my house where I make these videos is right in the middle of the house, basically. Well, the dining room is in the middle of the house, but this room is next to the dining room and on one side, and next to the stairs that go upstairs on the other side, and next to the front door, because it's in that stairway. So if you hear weird noises in the background, it's because we are not alone. We are surrounded by people and dogs, and they come and go at all hours. It doesn't matter when I sit down to do the video. There's no guarantee that someone's not going to walk through the room, so that's not something I can control. This is sticking up a little bit. I'm going to cut that off. So looking good. I may be able to go ahead and cut the bottom, and we can move on from this one. I'm putting my brush in the water cup. I find that when I'm using Mod Podge, I don't know why I'm using tiny scissors for this task, by the way. When I'm using Mod Podge, I can keep my brush from drying out by just sticking it in the water. And then when I need to glue something again, I just give it a quick, like I have a towel here behind me that I just give it a quick brush off. So there may still be some water in there, but that's fine because it's Mod Podge, doesn't matter. Okay. And then I'm saying that this is, I already got my, I can always fix this later. And the other thing, if I do end up keeping this as is, I will come back and some point and at least put packing tape on the seams here, because these pages are getting to the point where they're like falling out. But hey, I already like it better, so, and that is a judgment, but I am still sharing it with you because it's how I feel. Ta-da! Looks good. And I think also it looks better next to, I mean, one of the things I didn't think about at all until very late in this book was how the two pages looked next to each other. And so they can be like really random, and yeah, it would be nice if there was something tying the two together versus it just being completely random, because otherwise, like, why are these two pages next to each other? You know, what's the, so in revision, that's something I would like to address. Okay, let's keep going. I have more textures I want to use up, or if I just, as mentioned, I don't like this one at all. I don't even think I like the text on this one. I don't need a reminder to be an original. It feels like I don't have a choice on that one, so. This whole spread overall, I feel like I could do without. This is kind of interesting as a texture. One thing I didn't do was get out my folder of women. But, so maybe I'll skip, because this might be a page where I'm actually changing the central image. So I'll choose that for another time. Also don't like this. This is just, you know, kind of boring. Where was the one with the yellow? Let's go back to her. I feel like I could do a lot more with this. Just add something, just add some minor things at this point. I have this purple and orange, which is going to speak more to what's happening over here. I love that both of these have interest in their clothing. This page, this would be a fun video to do. I think I did do a small video or a small installation of this, but it's weaving. I wove texture and put it down as the page. Adding some more bright colors here seems like it would make it more related. And then I like the pause, choose, walk, but I think I would like for something else to be around it. And there is purple and orange on her. This is toilet paper wrapper from Who Gives a Crap. It's actually quite difficult to work with, but I do, like, I just can't throw it away. I mean, it's awesome. Let's start this out by just collaging a new frame around the words and see if I like that better. And I need to cut out a place. Ooh, I just threw that on the floor. I need to cut out a place for the E. So right in here. The E of the choose. That should work. I'll just make a little box around this. Not trying to do anything too crazy. So here's the other thing I could obviously do is just get a new brush, but I think this will be okay. Let's give it a shot. With this is very thin paper. I usually apply directly to the surface I'm going to glue it to versus putting the glue on. It's almost like a tissue paper. So, I guess the only danger is not getting enough on there. I could even bleed this over into the next page if I want to. Might want to. It's too long, but that's okay. So yeah, if you want to order some expensive toilet paper, and use the wrapper to collage with, and I recommend Who Gives a Crap. I go back and forth because they also donate profits to really good causes. I think it's a water, helping people who don't have clean water, I want to say. So it's nice to be able to support them because they support others, but it's not always in the budget because it is very expensive. What I could do is go ahead and cover up, and then I could always use a marker to get that black back on there. Sort of being lazy. Hope you don't mind. I mean, are we liking this? I'm supposed to be reserving judgment. Stop judging yourself, Lily. just add things. We can decide later if we like it. And this is the same for any revision, I suppose, but if I don't like the revision, I can always change it again. So it's about the process, experiencing it, living it, loving it, letting go, letting materials speak to you. I may get by with just, no, I need a bigger piece. Oh. And these pieces are huge too. These are bigger than the amount of wrapping paper I got, I think. So it lasts a long time. All right, so if I take this across, I need to get it in a way that cover. Do I want it covering her, or do I want it not covering her? I think I want it not covering her. Okay. Still close. All right, I think I have to line up. Do not want to cover up her hand at the moment. If I line this up, maybe. No, that's not going to work. It's okay. Let's just say it's okay if some of the yellow comes in. I got the other piece to be exact, and now I can't. Exact meaning I can still see the part of the image I like. I don't know, can you? I don't think you'd be able to read that as a problem. Let's see if I can tear off a little tiny bit. I'm usually not this exact with ripping paper because I usually don't. I'm not working around things, so this is a new process. I could also just go higher. Yeah. Okay, that's working. Just need a little bit here. It's pretty good. This one to be able to see. Pretty good. I think you'll be able to tell what it is. I don't know. This is kind of wacky. I have a feeling this sophisticated woman with the amazing hand-painted textile suit on would not care for this toilet paper wrapper at all. This may have been a page where what I needed to add was black instead of black and white instead of more color. But hey, we're gonna go with it for now. Leave it. Come back to it later and see what we think. I'm not gonna do more on this one because I would have to add. I'm gonna wait. This one I know I like. I mean, one thing that would be really nitty-gritty here would be, you know, somehow further adapting maybe some of these squares. There's also like a frame around her we could do. Like a black. Maybe we want black, I'm thinking, around her. Just for a contrast to all the rest of the color. Here's a blue. The thing I could do, I just did, the recent video I did was making a hat. Definitely make her a hat. It'd be nice for her, would be like a, like a halo sort of thing. Circle. A circle. If I can cut one out. See if I can get like a really biggish one. And then cut it down to size. Make like a spiral maybe. I do like adding spirals to my installations for interest, or another texture, another something to look at. And so what I do is I just cut a circle, I'll cut the initial spiral, and then I go back and basically I'm cutting this spiral in half, if that makes sense. So I'm just, so that there's space between the two pieces. I mean the circles, the concentric circles. And then that gives you your spiral. You can see when I finish what it looks like. This is actually kind of a large one. I guess in revision too, it'd be interesting to think about like intent. I know the intent of this book is like from a purpose standpoint, I know the intent is to dispense messages, you know, positive affirmations, that kind of thing. I guess it would be interesting to think about if I have an intent for the book that's aesthetic related. If it's just, well, I'm, you know, this is a window in time, or is it something more than that? So I got 2 spirals out of that. And then I could trim further, you know, if I want more space between any certain parts. That one's looking pretty good though. So I could use that. I could just put these on here. Ooh, kind of like that. This is what I mean about my process having changed so much, because, you know, when I made this page, the fact that it took me an hour or 2 hours or whatever to create this texture, this weaving pattern, was like, oh, that was really long. That took me a long time. Whereas now, that wouldn't be long at all. Spending an hour to make a texture of my own is very typical of my art practice. So that wouldn't feel like, oh wow, I've really done a lot. It would just be like, okay, that was step one, and now what am I going to do next? Yeah, I think I'll just glue these right down. Bring a bit more blue. I feel like blue is missing from this. There's some blue in the background patterns, but I don't really notice it. I do still love the process of weaving paper and of it adding such a cool texture to your book page. I gotta make sure I'm putting glue pages between so I'm not gluing my pages to each other. Okay, is that enough for her for now? I'm going back to see. And I don't think I need a glue page here because I didn't put any Mod Podge on top. Get the excess off here. One way of revising would be, and I think we did a little of this, would be to look for places I could add interactive elements. Because I would like for that to be a component of the book earlier on. So, but for today, we're just doing textures. This might be a good one since I have these different ladies, and I actually really like the idea of these different ladies. This might be a good one to add an interactive element where, you know, they're in windows or doors that open and close. The message is recharge your battery, which I'm not necessarily attached to, so I could also, I thought it might be fun to do another make with me and focus on the messaging of this book and seeing if I want to edit those in any way. A lot of the messages in here were very random. I just, you know, the first thing I saw, be your own kind of human. What's it saying overall? Oh, this one does have a cool interactive. And this is fabric, which is awesome. What is it saying? Oh, the overall intent, maybe. That would be something to pay attention to when I come back and edit the messaging. I like these two pages. I mean, this is my current aesthetic and will probably always be these two colors together, one of my favorite combinations. I was thinking maybe we could do something with her from a textural standpoint. We have the border that could be a different texture. This is a really cool poem I got almost accidentally. An ancient legend says, seek aloud influences. I just think that's cool. I do like the fact that some of the book is showing through, so I wouldn't want to change that. But maybe that could just be happening down here. This is requiring thinking. It would just be so great to use up some of my working textures I'm just hanging on to. Like, here's a good texture. Oh, this looks like it would go with her. Some of these are thicker too, and that might be a good thing. Just to add to these pages and give them more weight, because some of them are very, well, the original pages were very thin, and I didn't always glue two together. So here's some options. I could replace the blue with something more interesting. I don't know if that would do this. But even like, give give some more dynamic texture that way, but leave the rest kind of alone. So I like this corally color a lot better than I like the bright blue. I think this was a pattern I made myself. You know, at the time I probably loved it, but I'm not feeling the bright blue. I don't know. What if the bright blue became text or was black and white? I don't have enough of this. Ugh, get out of here. I don't have enough of this, but what if it was, the bright blue was black and white? This could go on. I wish I had more of this UPC. Let's see what we have in my black and white bucket. I have recently started sorting my colors. Oh, this is one that I used recently that I really liked. Oh yeah, see? I think that's already like really making it much more interesting. What do you think? If only I could hear your thoughts. So I could do a frame, turn this into a frame around it, but then we'd still have to deal with the blue. Let's try covering up. Unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to be kind of exact with this, which is annoying. But let's try covering up some of this blue and seeing if we're feeling the vibe. I wish I didn't have to be exact though. I hate having to be exact. But these widths have been predetermined here. What do I have on the back of this? It's my, yeah, I like the back. But honestly, that doesn't look so bad. I could do like a front back. Just to save myself the time. Because that adds to that, and it adds to this. What do you think? What do you think? If only I could hear your thoughts. I'm gonna do it. Do I have enough of this? Is the question. That would be one. I better cut them before I start. Before I start gluing, I better cut because I don't know if I have enough of this paper, and this is the only piece I have like this. I could always do in every other situation. So that's that one. These are going to be much shorter. So let's keep going down here. This one is blue almost all the way across, so I wouldn't be able to go all the way across. That's okay. Even if just the top two bleed over. It's kind of a cool concept. The inner workings of my mind is what you are experiencing right now. Scary place to be, scary place to be. I like that this one is different, but I don't know if that's too weird. This one's gonna go back here. Let's do a solid. This is exact for me. I think some of you might have thought I was going to grab a ruler. No siree, Bob. I can tell you right away that I'm gonna like this black and white pattern better than that blue. That blue was hard to take, hard to take. Likely that was leftover paint that I wanted to use up. I know this about myself. I don't like paint to go to waste. You know? I don't like paint to go to waste at all. So I probably felt obligated to use up the paint. Did, and then moved on with my life until now. Interesting where life has led me. I started this book in the company of other women on a weekly basis when I was taking an art class in New Haven. And now here I am, all by my lonesome. It's not always fun to be by yourself, but sometimes I certainly do appreciate getting a lot done when I sit down to work instead of just talking. But I like to work around other women. It would be nice to find a way to incorporate that back into my life. Okay. Ooh, this is cool. This is cool. I don't know, just giving you thoughts, or are you just working in your book? Either one is great. I don't actually need to teach people things weekly. That is not something I need to do. I do want to make weekly videos, even if they're just this sort of thing where I'm making and you're making. For one thing, it really inspires me to do my own art. And for that reason alone, expect to see weekly videos from me if I can at all manage it. It's just, yeah, it's just so helpful. Helpful. I think that'll be okay if I leave her eyes. Oh my gosh. Sounds like someone gave me a balm for my soul covering that blue up. Jeez. Who thought of it? Ugh, terrible. This blue reminds me of the blue that our cabinets and all the trim were in our kitchen in Connecticut when we first moved there. It was hideous. And the tiles, which were a 4x4 tile you'd be more accustomed to seeing in a bathroom than a kitchen, the tiles were a pale yellow. Ugh. Gross. Who in the world thought of it? I mean, that, talk about like just painting whatever because it's on sale. Yikes. Ooh, look at that cut. All right. I don't want to cover up my poem because I love it. You're going to be able to see some of the blue, but boy, does that provide relief to the eyes. Okay, so now we have to glue this down. I think that's a thick painted texture, but I think Mod Podge is still my best bet. I could move to a glue. This could actually go all the way over. Oh, I'm gonna need a piece here actually. So there's gonna be some glue because I can't quite. It's not quite big enough. Not quite big enough. I'd like to do a curve here as well. Stick it around her head. Riveting content. I feel so much for these YouTubers that have to come up with exciting content every single week of their lives. Like, some of us just live low-key lives. We don't have exciting content to share, and that's fine. That's the kind of life I want. Maybe I'll just fill this one in with my scraps so I end up using them. I think this is gonna be cool. And see, I don't mind the blue as much when it's integrated with more of the pink, but geez, all by itself, gag me with a spoon. So yeah, I don't know. Is anyone interested in like a virtual meetup where we work on our books together? Because I'd totally be down for that. I don't know if I could commit to it weekly at this point, but I would certainly be down for starting something like that. I'm going to try putting the glue directly on the page, and then I think I'm going to roll over, because this is both, I'm covering a thick and painted surface, and also some of this has tape on it. So double whammy against, you know, I need a really strong, what do you call it? What do you call it? Like seal, so that it will stay on there. And because this paper is actually quite, I don't know, thin and like it's a matte finish, I'm also gonna do glue on top. I might not do that today though, because then I don't know if we'd still be able to work in this book. How are we doing on time? Oh look, we've already reached an hour, so I think after this we can stop. I might do this for the next few weeks, just try to get more of this book completed. Because like I said, I would like to show it one day, and getting it to be a more accurate representation of my evolved aesthetic, I think is a worthy way to spend my time. Hopefully it's a worthy way for you to spend time if you just bring a book with you and work, work, work. We can inspire each other on, because I wasn't feeling, I don't know, I wasn't feeling that excited about this video, but it's interesting to see how much you can accomplish in a short amount of time. And again, I do want to point out, none of this was pre-planned outside of the fact that I picked my textures. I picked which boxes of textures I wanted to dig through. I barely even got through anything. I have so much. But I did pick those out ahead of time. They're just general textures. I didn't really know what was in there. And I knew I wanted to work in this book ahead of time. But other than that, this is all just you witnessing the process of me doing process art. Like, this is what it is. It's just completely, you know, what happens. Like, we don't know what's going to happen when we start. I'm going to leave that for now. You just start making. Certainly didn't know which of the spreads in this book I was going to work on. I had some idea. I hope that you are experiencing that part of making process art where it's very intuitive, it's natural, it's what you feel. You just don't have to I don't know, many of us live lives where everything is planned out, has to be planned out in advance. You're working with other people or what have you. Like, not so in this case. You can just be free. Ooh, I kind of want to curve. It's a little late for this, but I kind of want to do a curve over here. Just to mirror what I'm doing on the other side. It's about as exact as I get. I think I still like the idea of that top one hanging over. I'm not going to adhere it with glue. I'm going to wait and see. I guess the question I'm asking myself is it adding to the page or is it unnecessary? And I don't know the answer to that yet, so I'm going to hold off. Also, is it going to look weird to have one going across? No. Doesn't bother me. Don't bother me none. Cool. Alright, so let's do the top. I'm going to glue this side of it, but not the other. And we'll let that hang over and see how we feel. Because it might be cool. I forgot I was going to roll these for better adhesion. Actually getting a pretty solid seal, I think. Oh my goodness. Is this so much better? I love it. So much more. You can still see the poem. Let me take my glasses off. You can still see the girl. And I do have a little over here. I could put, I want to let you go, but I could put another across here just to cover up that yuckiness. Probably wise. Just to cover the yuckiness. Alright, this will be my last hurrah. I'm gonna let you go on with your lives, onward and upward. Do I like? Just gonna cut them. And I'm glad I use this pattern too. I use this pattern and I went back in one of my spreads from last week, which needed some black and white on the spread. I used this pattern in there and I really like it. I wish I had a whole book of this pattern. No, just kidding. I'm loving black and white right now. I don't know. I guess it's probably something every artist goes through at one point in their life. No, it adds a lot. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so let me get rid of this and I'll show you the finished. Give you a look at the finished spread. Well, finished for now. Spread. I am gonna do Mod Podge over the top, but I need to decide if I want to do a frame or if I want to leave. So I'm still thinking the idea of incorporating text would be cool, so maybe the frame around the outside would be something with text on it. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it as is for now. Cool. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and making with me. I hope you also got a lot done on your end, and I will see you next week. Bye.